It's been nearly 2 months since the president accused Democrats of playing politics and accused the media of being in, quote, hysteria mode over the coronavirus.
Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. They're politicizing it. We did one of the great jobs. You say, how's President Trump doing? They go, oh, not good, not good. They have no clue. And this is their new hoax. But, you know, we did something that's been pretty amazing. We're 15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that. We're doing great. Our country is doing so great.
But now, according to a recent article from The Atlantic, President Trump and his campaign are trying to rewrite that history and present him as a, quote, pandemic prophet. McKay Coppins is the reporter behind that piece. He's also a staff writer for The Atlantic, and he joins us now. So, McKay, walk us through exactly what is the president and his team? How are they trying to rewrite history?
Yeah, it's sort of a multifaceted messaging campaign, right? So it's happening on social media, certainly with the president's reelection campaign, pushing out this message day in, day out on Twitter, Facebook, in press releases, videos that they create. It's happening on the conservative media, certainly. And it's even happening through the institutional Republican Party, who are putting out robocalls, or at least did late last month, attacking the media's supposedly unfair coverage of the president. But really, I think the most prominent platform for this message has been these high-profile daily briefings that the president has been doing from the White House, where he has very deliberately and strategically tried to recast himself as somebody who was not only kind of behind the curve on the coronavirus, but as somebody who was exceptionally prescient, who understood the threat well before anybody else did, and who acted decisively. This is sort of the message that this White House is trying to put out. And it's pretty brazen, I think, because it's so diametrically opposed to what was taking place just a few weeks ago, as you showed in the tape there.
You know, McKay, the fact that the president is bashing the media isn't anything new. We've experienced this since the beginning of his administration. How do you believe that it's different this time around?
I think there are a couple differences. One is that the president is using a platform that has not typically been used for this kind of attacks on the media. You know, the White House briefing room is being used for what are supposed to be coronavirus task force briefings. The purpose of these briefings is to convey information about an ongoing public health crisis to Americans, right? That was the purpose. And sometimes the briefings are used that way. You have public health experts up there, you have other administration officials. But increasingly, especially I think as these briefings have gone on longer and longer, you see the president taking on an increasingly combative tone with the press. And you're right, of course, he's been attacking the media from the beginning of his campaign. But I think the difference is that, one, in these briefings, you see him kind of barking at reporters to rephrase their questions in more flattering ways, or even at one point playing a video that was designed to distract from his own administration's slowness in responding to this crisis by highlighting journalists who were slow to take it seriously. And so that's one thing that makes it different. I also think that this comes at a high stakes moment for the president, where we're in an election year and the press has been uncovering pretty damning details about how slow his administration was to respond to and prepare for this crisis. And it's clear that he has made a calculation that the best position for him to be in right now is in a fight with the press.
That's interesting. You say it's definitely a calculation that he's made. How do you think this all sort of manifested when the president started promoting hydroxychloroquine as this miracle drug?
That's a key point. I'm glad you brought it up. It's sort of a key plot line in this whole thing. Very early on, the president latched onto this idea that hydroxychloroquine could be kind of a miracle cure or a miracle drug in treating the coronavirus. There was little medical evidence to back this up, but the president had been seeing it advertised or talked about on Fox News, and he latched onto it. What then happened was that hydroxychloroquine, which was a fairly obscure anti-malaria drug, became kind of an artifact of culture war, right? So the entire conservative media sort of rallied around this drug, highlighted every kind of fair report or rumor that it might be working in an effort to show that the president was prescient. The whole political calculus behind this was that if we can convince Americans that this drug works, then the president will look like he was a visionary because he latched onto it before most of the medical community did. Now, what we've seen in just the past few days is that as more evidence has emerged that this drug might not be very effective in treating COVID-19, Fox News, at least, has backed off it. The president has stopped talking about it. And you can see the pivot starting again, where I think that you're going to see them try to sort of memory hole the whole hydroxychloroquine conversation and move on to something else.
McKay Coppins, thank you very much for joining us, McKay.
Thank you.